if you think of Robinhood, you do think of sort of a generally, as compared with other brokerages, a younger, sort of more digitally active consumer base, right? You do think of those days in, COVID when we were all at home and folks logging online and comparing their trades and investing. So, but it's also important to remember that a lot of those consumers were going elsewhere, right? To engage with social media on other platforms. It's not like they were using Robinhood to compare those trades or investment strategies. They were going on Reddit or Twitter, now known as X. And I think that Robinhood's intention here is to just kind of capture some of that enthusiasm and bring it onto their own platform.
Also, we're going to see profiles for public figures, right? Like Nancy Pelosi, like Bill Ackman. We're going to be able to see that transparency, which I think will sort of be a little bit of voyeurism for some, right? Some individual investors.
It was very interesting. I actually went to Robinhood's offices and they gave me some demos on what it would look like. And the social media platform is fascinating. You scroll through, it looks a lot like X while you're scrolling, but yes, you see these profiles, you see Bill Ackman, you see Nancy Pelosi, you see these public figures that folks follow very closely for investment, just to kind of see what they're doing on a daily basis. Maybe not on a daily basis. There is a little bit of a lag there because it's updated with via publicly required disclosures. But
what else did you notice when you went there and you used the demo?
I noticed it, sort of like a lot of Robinhood products. It's very user-friendly, very slick, I would say, to use. And it was, you see a lot of stats that are available. So keep in mind as well that they were very careful to hedge that things could change. This will be rolled out to Robinhood consumers starting early next year to sort of a smaller group and then widen from there. But you could see things like daily profit and loss statements. You could see profit
of other
rates.
People.
For other people, yes, other Robinhood consumers. And I believe you have to consent to share some of that information initially.
Okay, that makes sense, because it might be a deterrent for some people.
Of course, certainly. Don't quote me on that, I will say. I have to go back and look at exactly what they're planning. And again, things could change, but that was how I remembered it.
But it's unlikely that Robinhood customers are going to ditch their existing social media to come to this, right? So why invest the time, the money, the energy in doing this?
Certainly. I think that some of the Robinhood executives said that they kind of view this as a differentiator from sort of the Reddits and the Twitters of the world, the X's of the world, because the posts are actually taking place on the platform. You have the ability to see live trades that are updated in real time. There's this credibility, I suppose, that is associated with the profiles that are actually posting these social media, that are making these social media posts, because it's actually linked to a Robinhood account. And with that comes requirements like know your customer requirements, and it's not like that's the same on Reddit.